speech, a woman with no friends. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that we don't often discuss, but something that impacts so many: loneliness. More specifically, the feeling of being a woman without friends. Now, let's be honest, life can be incredibly isolating at times. Society often paints this picture that friendships come naturally, that we should all have this circle of people around us, always cheering us on. But the reality is, many women feel alone. For various reasons, friendships can fade, people can drift apart, or maybe they were never there to begin with. But here's what I want you to remember. Your worth isn't defined by the number of friends you have. Friendship, like all relationships, requires nurturing and alignment. Sometimes the reason we feel disconnected is because we're not finding people who align with who we truly are. And that's not a reflection of you being less or unworthy. It's just a sign that you're evolving, growing, and maybe even outgrowing the circles you once fit into. So, what do you do when you feel like you have no friends? You start by befriending the most important person in your life, yourself. Yes, it might sound cliche, but I need you to really understand the power of self-connection. When you cultivate a strong, loving relationship with yourself, you start to realize that external validation is a bonus, not a requirement. You start to realize that external validation is a bonus, not a requirement. If you're someone who has found themselves in the silence of solitude, ask yourself, what am I learning here? What strengths am I developing? Because when you're alone, you have an opportunity to build resilience, self-reliance, and most importantly, a deeper understanding of what you truly want in a friend. Sometimes loneliness is a period of growth where life is preparing you for the right people to come in. And when you love and value yourself deeply, the people who are meant to be in your life will show up, and they will see you for the incredible person that you are. But remember this, you are already complete. You don't need a room full of friends to validate your worth. When you operate from a place of self-love and self-respect, you attract relationships that are based on mutual respect, authenticity, and alignment. Now, I'm not saying to stop seeking connection. Humans thrive on connection. We need it. But the first step is to stop seeking it from a place of desperation or fear of being alone. Instead, seek it from a place of wholeness, from a place of knowing that you have something valuable to offer. There's a saying, the quality of your relationships reflects the quality of your relationship with yourself. If you feel isolated or disconnected, use that time to deepen your own self-awareness. Are you being true to yourself in every area of life? Are you showing up as the person you want to attract? Understand that the connections you seek will flow into your life when you are truly aligned with who you are. It's not about having 100 friends. It's about having the right ones. Those who see you, hear you, and honor you. And so if you're a woman with no friends right now, know this, you are not alone. You are in the process of discovering who you are. And that is a journey that will attract people who are meant to walk beside you. Trust the process, trust yourself, and most importantly, know that you are enough just as you are. In life, we often grow up with the belief that our worth is somehow tied to external factors, such as how popular we are, how many friends we have, or the relationships we cultivate with others. We are led to believe that having a large circle of friends or a social life filled with constant companionship is a marker of success, happiness, and validation. However, this can often lead to a misunderstanding of where our true value lies. We also want to know where our value lies. That idea that our self-worth is dependent on how many people surround us, how many like us, or how many want to be around us is a misconception that many people struggle with, especially during times of loneliness. But the reality is this: your self-worth is intrinsic. And it is not measured by the number of people in your life or how often you are invited to social gatherings. Whether you have a large circle of friends or you find yourself navigating life without close companionship, you remain inherently valuable as a person. True self-worth comes from within, and it begins with how you see yourself. At the core, self-worth is about recognizing that you are enough as you are. It's about understanding that your value as a human being is not contingent upon outside validation. You are not less because you have fewer friends, and you are not more because you have a busy social life. Realizing this truth can be life-changing because it shifts the focus inward. Instead of constantly seeking approval, affection, or companionship to fill a perceived void, you start to see that everything you need is already within you. This shift in mindset is essential because many people equate loneliness with failure or unworthiness. When someone is going through a period where they feel they have no friends or lack the social connections they desire, it's easy to fall into a negative cycle of self-criticism. You might ask yourself questions like, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't anyone want to be around me? Or, am I not good enough? These are the kind of thoughts that can spiral and damage self-esteem, making you feel as though you don't belong or have something to offer. But it's important to remember that having friends or social validation doesn't determine your personal worth. Friendships, while valuable, are not a requirement for self-love, fulfillment, or success. Life is filled with seasons, some where friendships come easily, and others where solitude becomes more prominent. In both instances, your worth remains the same. You are not defined by whether people choose to be in your life. People may come and go for various reasons, but that ebb and flow of relationships does not diminish your value. One of the most empowering realizations is that you are in control of how you view and treat yourself. When you cultivate a deep, meaningful relationship with yourself, you become your own greatest ally, your own source of strength. You learn to appreciate your uniqueness, your strengths, and even your vulnerabilities. You begin to understand that you don't need to rely on others to give you a sense of purpose or belonging. You belong to yourself first, and that is more than enough. When you love and respect yourself fully, the need for external validation fades. You start to see friendships and relationships as enhancements to your life, not the foundation of your worth. The friendships you cultivate become more genuine because they are not built out of a need for validation, but out of a shared mutual respect and understanding. You approach relationships from a place of wholeness, not out of fear of being alone or undervalued. And that makes all the difference. It's also essential to recognize that everyone's journey is different. Some people are naturally more social and thrive in large groups, while others are more introspective and may prefer deeper one-on-one connections. Neither is right or wrong. It's simply a reflection of individual preferences and life paths. Whether you have a lot of friends or a few, what matters most is how you feel about yourself when you're alone. Do you enjoy your own company? Do you see your value when no one else is around? These are the real markers of self-worth, and learning to be content in your own company, to appreciate the quiet moments, and to find fulfillment within yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. It builds a strong foundation of self-reliance, resilience, and emotional stability. When you can look in the mirror and say, I am enough, just as I am, you free yourself from the pressure of trying to meet others' expectations or relying on their approval to feel valuable. Ultimately, self-worth comes from understanding that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness simply because you exist. It is not conditional upon your friendships or social status. When you recognize this, you begin to approach life with a sense of inner confidence and peace. You no longer seek friendships out of fear or insecurity, but from a place of strength and self-assurance. And that's where true, meaningful connections are formed. One of the most profound lessons in life is understanding that not every connection, friendship, or relationship is meant to last forever. As we grow, change, and evolve, so too do our needs, desires, and values. This natural process often leads to shifts in our social circles, sometimes resulting in feelings of disconnection or loneliness. However, it's important to realize that these moments of disconnection can be powerful indicators that we are evolving and that we may be outgrowing the people, situations, or environments that once fit us so well. This is not a failure, but a natural part of life's progression. Alignment is key to any meaningful relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic connection, or even a professional partnership. When two people are aligned in their values, interests, and goals, their relationship feels easy, supportive, and fulfilling. However, when alignment starts to fade, when people's values, goals, or emotional needs begin to diverge, the relationship can become strained or distant. This can lead to the natural drifting apart of friends or loved ones, and it can feel painful. Yet, rather than seeing this as something negative or as a reflection of your worth, it's important to understand that this is a natural signal that you're growing in a new direction. Many times we hold on to friendships or connections out of habit or fear of being alone, even when they no longer serve us or align with who we are becoming. This can lead to feelings of stagnation or dissatisfaction, because deep down we know that we've outgrown those relationships. People grow at different rates and in different directions. Just as you would update your wardrobe as your style or preferences change, the same concept applies to relationships. If we need connections that reflect who we are in the present, not just who we were in the past. When you feel disconnected from others, it's an opportunity to reassess where you're headed and who you want to surround yourself with. It's a sign that perhaps the people or environments you once found comfort in no longer resonate with your current self. This doesn't mean that you or the people around you are wrong or lacking. It simply means that you're evolving. And the relationships that once fit might no longer align with your current state of being. This realization can be liberating because it encourages you to seek out new connections that are more in tune with your present values and goals. Part of personal growth involves becoming more aware of what you need and want from your relationships. As you develop a clearer sense of who you are and what matters to you, it's natural that the kinds of relationships you seek will also change. You might find that you no longer connect with the same people, or that the things that used to bond you together are no longer there. This is not a reflection of any inadequacy on your part, nor does it mean that the friendships you once cherished were meaningless. It simply reflects that as you grow and change, the connections in your life must evolve too. If you explain this simply, this process of realignment can often be uncomfortable. Many people feel guilty or sad when they realize that they no longer connect with people who once played a major role in their lives. However, it's essential to acknowledge that it's perfectly normal for relationships to evolve and sometimes fade away. What's important is that you continue to honor your own growth and pursue relationships that support your journey forward rather than clinging to those that keep you anchored in the past. This doesn't mean cutting people off or ending relationships abruptly. Sometimes it's simply about allowing space for those relationships to transform naturally. It's about being honest with yourself about how you feel in certain connections and recognizing when it's time to gently let go of relationships that no longer serve your highest self. Letting go doesn't diminish the value those relationships once had. It simply acknowledges that you're on a new path now and that your current path requires different connections, perspectives, and energy. As you continue to grow, you may start seeking out relationships that offer a deeper level of connection. People who share your values, who inspire you, and who align with the person you are becoming. This might mean stepping outside of your comfort zone and seeking out new communities, interests, or environments that reflect your growth. It could also mean being more intentional about the people you surround yourself with, ensuring that they are supportive, understanding, and aligned with your journey. Okay? Then I also think it means realizing that surrounding ourselves with healthy people is like shedding. The beauty of realigning your relationships is that it opens the door to more fulfilling, authentic connections. When you're surrounded by people who truly understand and support your values, your personal growth accelerates. You no longer feel the need to hide parts of yourself or conform to an outdated version of who you once were. Instead, you feel empowered to be your truest self, knowing that the people around you accept and celebrate that version of you. It's important to trust that the process of realignment, while challenging at times, is ultimately for your greater good. When you honor your personal growth and seek relationships that align with your present self, you create space for deeper, more meaningful connections. These new relationships can provide the support, inspiration, and companionship that truly enrich your life and reflect the direction you're headed in. Remember, growth is not a solitary journey, but it's also not a journey that requires the same companions throughout. The people who are meant to be with you on your path will align with you naturally. They will see and understand the person you are becoming, and they will walk beside you, helping you navigate the next steps of your journey. Trust the process, honor your growth, and seek out the connections that truly resonate with the person you are today. The foundation of every meaningful relationship in life begins with the relationship you have with yourself. It is often said that you cannot truly love or understand others until you love and understand yourself. Yet many people tend to overlook this vital aspect of their emotional well-being. We are so conditioned to seek validation and companionship from external sources, whether it's friends, partners, or family, that we sometimes neglect the most important relationship we'll ever have, the one with ourselves. This self-relationship is the cornerstone of happiness, fulfillment, and ultimately our ability to form authentic connections with others. When you befriend yourself first, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-acceptance. It's not about being self-absorbed or isolating yourself from others, but about developing a deep understanding of who you are, what you want, and what truly brings you joy. It's about recognizing your strengths, embracing your weaknesses, and realizing that you are enough, just as you are. This inner work creates a solid foundation from which all other relationships can grow and flourish. The first step in befriending yourself is self-awareness. To truly know yourself, you must take time to reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This means getting to know your likes, dislikes, dreams, fears, and values on a deep level. Often we spend so much time trying to understand others or mold ourselves to fit in with societal expectations that we lose sight of our own unique identity. But when you make the conscious decision to turn inward and explore who you truly are, you gain clarity about what matters most to you. This clarity is essential for living an authentic life and attracting relationships that align with your true self. Self-awareness also involves recognizing patterns in your life. Perhaps you've noticed that you often feel drained after spending time with certain people, or that you've been settling for less in your relationships than you deserve. By reflecting on these patterns, you begin to understand what fulfills you and what depletes you. This knowledge empowers you to make better choices about the kind of relationships you want to cultivate, and it starts with the one you have with yourself. Once you've developed self-awareness, the next step is self-compassion. Just as you would show kindness and understanding to a close friend, you must extend that same compassion to yourself. We are often our own harshest critics, berating ourselves for perceived failures or shortcomings. But befriending yourself means accepting that you are human and that mistakes are a natural part of life. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness, patience, and forgiveness that you would offer to someone you care deeply about. Self-compassion allows you to navigate life's challenges without the weight of self-judgment, and it creates an inner sense of safety that enhances your overall well-being. With self-compassion comes self-respect. When you respect yourself, you set clear boundaries about what is and isn't acceptable in your relationships. You no longer tolerate behaviors that are harmful or draining. Instead, you prioritize your emotional and mental health by surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. This isn't about cutting people off or isolating yourself, but about being mindful of who you allow into your inner circle. When you have a strong relationship with yourself, you are less likely to seek validation or approval from others and more likely to form relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Another essential component of befriending yourself is learning to enjoy your own company. Many people fear being alone because they equate it with loneliness or a lack of worth. However, there is a significant difference between being alone and being lonely. When you enjoy your own company, you find peace and fulfillment in solitude. You take pleasure in activities that nourish your soul, whether it's reading, meditating, going for walks, or pursuing creative hobbies. This time alone allows you to recharge and reconnect with yourself, ensuring that you approach your relationships with others from a place of fullness rather than neediness. It's important to note that befriending yourself doesn't mean isolating yourself from others or avoiding relationships altogether. In fact, the opposite is true. When you have a healthy, loving relationship with yourself, you are better equipped to form deep, meaningful connections with others. You no longer approach relationships from a place of desperation or fear of being alone. Instead, you seek connections that complement your life, not complete it. You become more selective about the people you surround yourself with because you understand that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable. Furthermore, when you have befriended yourself, you are less likely to be influenced by societal pressures or expectations about what your relationship should look like. You don't feel the need to conform to others' ideas of success or happiness because you've already cultivated that sense of fulfillment within. This allows you to approach relationships with authenticity, knowing that you are loved and valued just as you are, and that anyone who enters your life is a bonus, not a requirement. Lastly, befriending yourself means continually nurturing your personal growth. It's about recognizing that self-love and self-awareness are ongoing processes, not one-time achievements. As you continue to grow, evolve, and learn, you will discover new facets of yourself that require attention and care. By maintaining a strong, loving relationship with yourself, you ensure that you are always grounded in your own truth, regardless of external circumstances. In conclusion, when you befriend yourself first, you create a foundation of self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-respect that enhances every area of your life. You become more resilient, more confident, and more capable of forming authentic relationships with others. Instead of seeking validation or approval from external sources, you find fulfillment within, and that sense of inner peace allows you to attract relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, love, and understanding. Befriending yourself is the ultimate act of self-care, and it is the key to living a life of authenticity and fulfillment. Loneliness is often seen as something to avoid, a negative state of being that makes people uncomfortable or unhappy. However, loneliness, when approached with the right mindset, can become a powerful tool for personal growth, self-discovery, and transformation. While it's natural to crave companionship and connection with others, periods of solitude can offer an invaluable opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and build resilience in ways that constant social interaction cannot. Instead of seeing loneliness as something to be feared or resisted, embracing it as an opportunity for growth can help you unlock new levels of inner strength and clarity. One of the greatest gifts that loneliness can provide is the time and space for reflection. In the hustle and bustle of daily life filled with distractions, obligations, and social interactions, it's easy to lose touch with your inner self. Loneliness, however, creates the perfect environment for introspection. During these quiet moments, you are forced to confront your thoughts, emotions, and experiences without the external noise of others. This can lead to profound insights into who you are, what you want from life, and what truly matters to you. Self-reflection in moments of loneliness helps you gain clarity about your values, goals, and desires. When you are alone, you are not influenced by the opinions, expectations, or desires of others. You have the freedom to think deeply about your own life and make decisions that are rooted in your personal truth rather than in the desire to please others or fit in with societal norms. In this way, loneliness becomes a fertile ground for self-awareness, allowing you to get in touch with your authentic self. Moreover, loneliness can build resilience. When you spend time alone, especially if you initially find it uncomfortable, you learn to rely on yourself for emotional support and fulfillment. This independence is an essential life skill, as it teaches you that your happiness does not depend on others. While human connection is undeniably important, learning to be content in your own company strengthens your sense of self-reliance and resilience. You become less dependent on external validation or the presence of others to feel happy or secure. Instead, you develop the inner resources to navigate life's challenges with confidence and emotional stability. Resilience born out of loneliness also prepares you for the inevitable ups and downs of life. Relationships, friendships, and social connections are not always stable. People come and go and circumstances change. If you are overly dependent on others for your emotional well-being, these changes can feel overwhelming or even devastating. However, when you've built a strong relationship with yourself and cultivated resilience in times of loneliness, you are better equipped to handle these shifts. You understand that while companionship is a wonderful part of life, your sense of self and happiness is not entirely tied to it. Another aspect of loneliness that contributes to personal growth is the opportunity for creativity and exploration. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators have used solitude as a means of tapping into their creative potential. When you are alone, you have the time and mental space to explore new ideas, engage in creative projects, or pursue personal passions without distraction. Loneliness can become a wellspring of inspiration, allowing you to think outside the box, discover new interests, or develop talents that might otherwise remain untapped. In these quiet moments, you can reconnect with hobbies or interests that bring you joy, but might have been neglected due to the demands of social life. Whether it's painting, writing, music, or any other creative endeavor, solitude offers the perfect opportunity to dive deeply into your passions without interruption. This not only fosters personal growth, but also brings a sense of fulfillment and purpose that comes from engaging in activities that resonate with your soul. Loneliness also provides an opportunity to practice self-care. When you are alone, you have the time to focus on your physical, emotional, and mental well-being in ways that are often neglected in the presence of others. You can use this time to rest, recharge, and reflect on what your body and mind truly need. This could involve adopting healthier habits, engaging in mindfulness practices, or simply taking time to relax and rejuvenate. By treating loneliness as a time for self-care, you develop a greater sense of balance and harmony in your life. Furthermore, embracing loneliness can help you develop a greater capacity for empathy and compassion toward others. When you spend time alone and experience loneliness firsthand, you become more attuned to the feelings of those who may also be going through similar experiences. This increased awareness can lead to deeper, more meaningful connections with others when you do engage socially. Having taken the time to reflect on your own needs and emotions, you are better able to understand and support others in a compassionate and authentic way. Perhaps one of the most significant growth opportunities that come from loneliness is learning to be comfortable with discomfort.